I got rejected by not one, but two radiology programs and still have the rejection letters to this day. So why am I telling you this? Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today I want to talk about my experience in applying to these radiology programs. Obviously, you just saw there I had a couple speed bumps during this journey, and this is very accurate representation of what happens when applying to these radiology programs because of how competitive these schools can be. And the reason I'm making this is because I just want to be totally transparent about the application process and what could possibly happen. There could be someone else that is similar situation that I was, and maybe this video might help you not make the same mistakes that I did to be able to actually get into that program the first time. And speaking of getting into a radiology program the first time, I actually made a recent video that kind of goes into detail and discusses some tips and tricks to help boost your application to actually get accepted into a program. So I'll leave a link down in the description below. Check that out if you haven't already. But with that said, again, I just want to kind of make this video to share my experience because it might resonate with you if you are someone that was in a similar position I was in when I applied to radiology school. So with that said, let's get into it. So there seem to be a couple different cohorts of people that apply to these radiology programs. You have high school students applying directly from high school to an X-ray program. You have people that maybe have some sort of undergraduate coursework under their belt, maybe an associate's degree, that are applying to a radiology program. Or you have someone that this might be their second career. They are looking for a career change and they are trying to get out of their field and get into a radiology field because it only takes 2 years to become an X-ray tech. And the latter of the three is actually very common. There are many people that choose the medical field as a second career choice for many different reasons, such as job security, stability, maybe financially, or just getting a fresh new start. And again, being an X-ray tech, it only takes 2 years from the day you start radiology school to graduation to actually be in a whole new field. So it is very ideal for people looking for a second career. But anyway, I was someone that fell in the middle cohort. I had about a year of undergraduate courses under my belt before finding radiology. I wish I found radiology when I was in high school, but at that time I couldn't even decide what I wanted for breakfast. So I had no idea radiology even really existed, and I went to college in the first year. I just pretty much took all gen ed courses and changed my major multiple times because I just could not decide on a career path. But everything happens for a reason, and during this time is when I really found radiology. And one of the first videos I actually made discusses how I found radiology, why I chose X-ray as a career. So go check that out if you want. I'll leave a link in the description, but I'm not going to go into detail on that in this video because it'll take too long. But I was really excited to finally find a career. It just was something that hit home. I was like, I can do this forever. I can do this the rest of my life. And I was really excited to start the application process to get into a program near me. So again, at this time, I had about a year of undergraduate courses under my belt, and they were pretty much all gen ed courses. I was talking to my academic advisor, and she put me on the path to getting into the radiology program at the university I was in. And I remember her telling me how competitive this program actually was. She said the program operated on a point-based system, meaning that GPA was heavily weighted. There was a list of recommended courses that you could take to help boost your chances of getting into the program. There was a job shadowing form that you had to do. Reference letters were needed. There's an interview process, and pretty much the more points you got, the better chance you had of earning a seat in that actual program. So I thought to myself, wow, this really is competitive. So I had about 2 semesters to work on the application process before having to apply to the school. So what I did was start working down the recommended course list. I started taking classes such as medical terminology, basic pharmacology, anatomy and physiology, those type of courses to help boost my chances of ranking up the point-based system and earning a spot in that program. And this is something that I did right. I started having all these recommended courses under my belt, which helped me stand out. But what did I do wrong? Well, I didn't take those classes as serious as I should have. I remember I got a C in anatomy and physiology. I got a couple C's in some of my gen ed classes, which honestly should have been easy A's, and that really hurt me in the long run. That did not look great for my GPA. And again, on this point-based system, GPA was like the most heavily weighted aspect of it. So in regards to the classes I took, it was pretty much quantity over quality, meaning, yeah, it looked good that I took all these preferred classes, but I did not excel in these classes. And the point of that being is a radiology program director would rather see someone take a few classes and excel in them rather than someone that has a list of all these classes but get mediocre grades. Does that make sense? So I would have been better off just really focusing on a couple courses, excelling in those grades, rather than, again, taking all the courses and just getting C's and B's, that sort of thing. If you are someone that has taken undergraduate courses and you do have a couple C's, it's not a make or break. Don't let that freak you out. But from here on, just do your best to kind of get your GPA up, because that is, again, the first thing that a lot of these program directors look at. These directors want to know that radiology is what you want to do, that you are getting good grades, that you will graduate. They want you to graduate. They want you to succeed. And that is the whole goal of getting into a program. So again, take your studies serious. So around this time, one of my good friends gets into a radiology program down the road from me. And she's like, hey, Brandon, you should apply to this program. When I'm a second year, you'll be a first year. We'll get to be in clinical together. We'll get to be in school again. It'll be great. And I was like, oh yeah, that sounds amazing. Let's do it. So I started looking at this application process, and it is pretty much the same exact application process as the university program that I'm looking at. It's a point-based system, and it's pretty much verbatim. GPA weighted, recommended courses, has the reference letters, job shadowing, and an interview process. So I thought to myself, if I'm already doing all this work to apply to this university program, I may as well apply it to the other program too. Just because they're saying how competitive these programs are, that'll just give me a better chance of getting into one of the programs. So now I'm working my way down the application process, and I get to the job shadowing part. From here, each school wants at least 4 hours of documented job shadowing. So something I did right was I actually went to both clinical sites and did 4 hours at each. So I had a total of 8 hours of job shadowing. And this looks really good to a program director. It shows them that you're not just doing the bare minimum, you kind of went above and beyond, that you really want to earn a seat in this program. And if you're someone applying to a radiology school and your school does not require doing a job shadowing, I would still 100% do at least 4 hours of job shadowing. Again, for one, it will show that director that, oh, this wasn't even a requirement, and this person did documented hours of job shadowing. That means they really want to get into this program. And two, it just shows you that you're making the right choice. There are people that shadow x-ray techs and then they're like, whoa, broken bones, blood, this is scary. I don't know if I can do this forever. And there are others that do the job shadowing like me. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. This is something that I can see myself doing for the rest of my life. So it kind of cements the fact that this is what you want to do. So again, if they do not require job shadowing, do it. You kill two birds with one stone, and it will really help you through the application process. So fast forward a little bit, and now we're about a month or two out from actually applying to a program, the application deadline. And from here, I find out that at the university that I'm enrolled at, I am able to set up a meeting with the program director of that radiology program. So that is something that I did right. I set up a meeting to discuss what I could do to help better my chances, help stand out, to give myself the best chance of getting into that program. So I walk into this meeting very professionally. I introduced myself and I talked to the program director. I said, I have done a couple job shadowings. This is what I really want to do. I can't wait to start the program. What can I do to make myself stand out? And he just doesn't say anything and just slides over a pamphlet to me that says radiology programs in Ohio. And I'm just like, what? What is this? He said, don't put all your eggs in one basket. And I'm just like, what? And he said it again. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Apply to more than one program. And I say, oh, I'm actually applying to that program down the road here. One of my good friends is in that program. And he goes, oh, that's great. But that program is just as competitive, if not more competitive than my program, because that program only takes 8 to 10 students a year. My program takes 20 students a year. But there are over 100 people that apply to both programs every year. And those people that are rejected often apply the following year. They'll be on a wait list and they still might not get accepted. So with that said, broaden your radius. Don't just look at the 2 local programs closest to you. Broaden your radius, look around, take this pamphlet home, and really consider applying to other programs. So I took that pamphlet home and started looking at other radiology programs. And the next closest radiology program that I was somewhat eligible to apply to was 3 hours away. And I was just thinking to myself, I'm not going to move 3 hours away to go to x-ray school. I'm going to get into one of these schools. And my friend, she actually put in a good word for me to the program director. And during my shadowing, he came up to me and said, oh, Brandon, your friend has talked about you. It's nice to meet you. So I was just like, oh, this is networking. I got this in the bag. If I don't get into the university program, I'm going to get into that school with her. So I was just like very going back and forth. Is it even worth driving 3 hours to this open house to be eligible to apply to this program? I don't even have a car. I don't know. Long story short, it came to that weekend where the open house was, and I called my sister to have her drive me there. It was a long weekend, and I was still indifferent about it. I'm like, I guess I'll apply to this program now that I did that, but I know I'm getting into these 2 local programs, so it's just a backup, whatever. And the time comes, and I apply to all 3 of these programs, and it's just a waiting game. And about a month later, I get these 2 letters in the mail. What do they say? This is from the university program, the first one that I was applying to. Dear Brandon, I regret to inform you that due to the large number of applicants this year, 106, your application to the blah 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 radiography school has been declined for consideration for a possible position in the program this year. If you wish to pursue a career and want some advice on how to improve your application for next year's admissions, please feel free to contact me at blah, blah, blah. I was like, wow. I met with this guy. He knew my name. I took all these recommended courses. I can't believe I did not get in, but also 106 people applied and they had 19, 20 seats. Dang, everyone was right. This is really competitive. So that hurt, but I'm like, all right, I'm still getting into this other program that my friend put in a good word for me. And this letter comes. Dear Brandon, thank you for applying to the blah, blah, blah School of Radiologic Technology. I regret to inform you that you were not selected to begin the program in 2013. Yes, this was 10 years ago, even though it still is relevant today because a lot of these programs are point-based systems. So crazy. We are interviewing the top 20 candidates based on the overall GPA at the college level and the GPA specific to radiologic sciences. If you wish to apply to next year, your application will be kept on file for 1 year. I didn't even make it into the top 20 of applicants. That's how crazy competitive this is. And they just talked about how important your GPA was, and I knew it. My GPA was not the best. I should have taken my classes more serious, and I couldn't even be eligible to get to the interview step. So that was really hard. I was just like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I've already changed my major multiple times. I don't want to wait a whole nother year to apply to this radiology school. What can I even do different? I've already took most of the recommended courses that would help me get in. I'm not going to retake them to get a better class. It makes no sense. That's so expensive. It just, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I honestly forgot I applied to the third program. But it was about a couple weeks later, I got the third program's letter on my birthday. And what's funny is I don't even know where that letter is. I probably shredded that. I have the rejection letters, but not the acceptance letter. But that program says, congratulations, Brandon, you've been accepted to the program to start in the fall of 2013. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I was ecstatic. I could not believe that this was it. And I'm just like thinking, wow, I guess I'm going to move a few hours away to do this program. This just was something that I never planned on happening. I always planned on getting into these two local programs. And thank goodness I applied to that third program. Thank goodness I took that director's advice. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, broaden your radius, because I never in a million years would have applied to that program 3 hours away. And I don't know what I would be doing, because I would just be like, am I going to wait another year to apply, or is it time to look for a new major? I didn't know. So I packed my things, moved 3 hours away, did that program for 2 years, ended up staying there for another 3 years, working at the clinical site that I took my clinical at, because it was just such an incredible experience. Everything worked out. Everything works out for a reason. I met so many incredible people up there. It was such a good experience through school, and such a great experience as my first job working in a big trauma hospital. And it kind of helped me gain the confidence to start traveling, which is what I've been doing the last 7 years or so. And yeah, life just works in funny ways, and everything really does happen for a reason. So do yourself a favor, take that program director's advice, don't put all your eggs in one basket, and broaden your radius, apply to as many programs as you can so you can get into a program right now. Let's wrap this video up now. I hope you guys are able to take something from this video, something from my journey in applying to the radiology programs. Obviously, there are some speed bumps with this, and this is very possible. This could happen to a lot of people, but I want to share the mistakes that I made, as well as some of the things I did right, to help you guys build the best possible application so you can get into a radiology school now. Everyone is going to have different experiences when applying to schools. So if you are a tech or you are a student that already has been accepted to a school, leave down in the comments what your journey was, what your experiences was applying, and any tips and tricks that you might have to getting into school the first time. Again, this whole channel is about transparency, and I want to share with you as much as I can. So with that said, leave any comments, questions down below. I hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you next time. Take care.